Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Habitat Learn and Ask. I'm Alex Huseman, and I'm so excited to be here with you all today. With me, I also have Sherika Eskridge, our Neighborhood Revitalization Coordinator, and Belinda Howard, our Neighborhood Revitalization Specialist, who I hope I just gave the proper titles to. We'll see how that goes. Before we get started, I have a couple pieces of housekeeping while we wait for a few more people to join us. So if you have any questions during this event, there is a questions panel over in what usually is the right-hand side. There's a control panel that popped up when you clicked join GoToWebinar. You can ask the questions at any point during this session. Just know that we'll be answering them at the end of the webinar, but feel free to ask them as you have them. Also, at the end of this webinar, there's going to be a survey. Please complete that survey. It helps me know what you think of this series and what you'd like to know more about. Also, as an incentive to get you more responses, I'll pick one survey answer to win some fun habitat swag. So pretty please for that survey. Also, I'm going to say this now. I'll also say it at the end of the presentation. But next month, we will still have a Habitat Learn and Ask, but it won't be the first Friday of the month because that would make it New Year's Day. And our offices are closed that day. So we will see you on the second Friday, which is January the 8th. And I believe that's all of my housekeeping for right now. Try to keep it short and sweet for you all. So I will pass it over to Sherika and Belinda.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting us to speak to you today about Neighborhood Revitalization Habitat Has the Right Connection Resource Guide. That's a mouthful. So for the balance of the presentation, we will refer to it as the resource guide. Again, I'm Belinda Howard, Neighborhood Revitalization Specialist and part of the NR team along with my manager, Sherika Eskridge. After this presentation, you should be able to answer these three questions. Why a resource guide? How does it work? And where can I find it? And an additional question, what exactly is it? Habitat Has the Right Connection is a user-friendly resource guide created for families, agencies, individuals seeking free, low-cost, unique services in the Charlotte and surrounding area. So why a resource guide? If any of you have worked in the field of social work, as a social worker, case manager, intake specialist, you probably over the years accumulated something like this, full of brochures, pamphlets, handouts that you collected over the years. And often your clients will come to you and say, I need some resources over and above what you offer. You could either slide them this resource folder and hope what's in there is in there. With technology, families are able to go online. For example, let's say Mecklenburg County. Now, I'm not picking on Mecklenburg County government. I used to work for DSS. They're a wonderful agency. But just for an example, let's say you're seeking food. So you go to the Mecklenburg County website and you see all these resources. You know it's not under the jail or Parks and Recreation. You get to DSS, you find food and nutrition. You click on there and you say, okay, here's the resource. But what if you already have food assistance? So now that resource is not relevant at this time. So one thing about when you go directly to an agency, you only see the resources that agency provides. This resource guide was created to identify the many needs and services families may face and the countless agencies, vendors, businesses designed to address those needs. The resource guide also provides links to resources that matches a family's specific need or situation. Okay, so how does it work? Well, it's a two-part answer. Several years ago, I was part of the Macomb County Government Human Service Coordinating Body. and it was made up of agency leaders, and we were tasked with creating a resource guide that would bring families and agencies together in a coordinated way so that families are not scanning resources looking for the help that they need. When I started with Habitat a year ago, Sherika and I spoke about goals, and one of her goals was to create a resource guide. And one of my coworkers, once they found out I was creating a resource guide, gave me this. So this at the time was very relevant. Um, so that's the part one to the answer. Part two, several years ago, Habitat for Humanity International created the Quality of Life Framework. And it's based on learnings from other affiliates and community development experts. And it was designed to understand how an improved quality of life can be achieved in neighborhoods. So if you look at the quality of life graph, you see the core are the people, and they have gifts, dreams, and concerns. And then as you go into the green and yellow, you'll see how they decide to work together to come up with a plan and to initiate that plan. Well, if you look at the sectors in the blue, this is what HFHI felt were needed for neighborhoods, the sectors that were needed for neighborhoods to thrive. And they are, from left to right, amenities, economic opportunities, education, health, housing, safety, and transportation. It is from this framework that the guide was developed along with the model that was created in Macomb County. So we're going to look at some of the amenities and how they are defined. Okay, so when you go into the resource guide, you will see the amenities defined. Some of these are just a condensed version of the full definition, and I'm just going to point out a couple of them. Amenities. We define those as the basic resources that create a community of convenience. And those items are banking, retail, faith and religion, food and recreation. Another one that I really enjoyed defining was education. And I decided to look up some of the great influencers of history and see what they had to say about education. The full definition of education is on the actual website, but I pulled out these three. Tupac said, the late Tupac, and I quote, "Even geniuses ask questions." But my favorite was the last one, and I quote, "I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well," end of quote, Alexander the Great. Our next page will also show the additional definitions for health, wellness, housing, and safety. And I feel personally that the most important sector is transportation, and it is defined as an act or process of moving people or goods from one place to another. So I truly believe that unless we have adequate transportation for families to get to the other sectors, those sectors will really be of no value to them. Now, next slide. Now, what makes this resource guide so unique is that the resources are grouped by situations. Individuals know what they're looking for. And this resource guide can save time by the family not having to research the internet or going through the famous historical resource folder. So I'm going to share with you three examples that are in the resource guide. Situation: an individual family living in rural Mecklenburg County needs transportation. That's their situation. So you've read the definitions, so you know your need is a transportation need. And there's the result: the rural general public. Transportation within an unincorporated part of Mecklenburg County. This resource can take you door to door or take you to a local Charlotte park and ride. We provide as much information as we have for that resource and provide a contact number or a web address. Our next one. Situation: an individual family is seeking down payment assistance on a home. Habitat for Humanity of the Charlotte region. Once again, we provide a description. We offer sweat equity that helps offset the down payment and keeps the homeowner's initial costs low. We provide the website so you can go there and get additional information. And our last situation, a veteran is seeking training while transitioning into civilian life. Operation Good Jobs. And you'll see the first two words, assist, military, and then veteran families. Once again, we provide as much information as we have and also provide a phone number where they can be contacted. But I believe from my years of working in the social service field that we should never be the agency that gives them the final phone number. There should always be one more phone number afterwards. So at the bottom of each sector, we say, still need help? Dial 211 to speak to a call specialist 24/7, 365 days a year. Now, we also receive resources throughout the year, especially with COVID. We'll get emails from various agencies saying that on Wednesday there's a training for this program, or next week there's free COVID testing. We don't have time to add these time-limited resources to our resource guide, but we have an extensive list of neighborhood association leaders and homeowner association leaders that we're able to send these resources out, and then they can post them on their website. We're also, Habitat is also a referring agency for two resources in the community, Loaves and Fishes and Dress for Success. And what happens when we get a referral from a family that needs food, we don't have to send them to another agency to get a referral to Loaves and Fishes. We're able to do that right here at the Habitat office in our program. Next slide. Once you find your situation or one similar, the resources will be listed underneath. It's that easy. Because resources change frequently, we will work to keep this resource guide updated. And just going back to the resource guide that was created in Macomb County over 20 years ago, it is still on the website. So we believe that this resource guide will be relevant for many, many years to come. If you come across a resource that's no longer operating, hours have changed, or if you know of a new resource, please contact either myself or Sherika. Our numbers are listed. There's also a page where an agency can fill out the form and request to be a part of the resource guide. So where can you find it? Well, visit our website. In fact, we have time. We're going to take you there now live so you can check it out. So now you know.
Hello, everyone. As Alex mentioned earlier, I'm Sherika Eskridge, the Neighborhood Revitalization Coordinator, and I am going to take you all through our website. Previously on the previous slide, you can access this webpage by going to habitatclt.org/initiatives/neighborhood-revitalization. You simply go to our website and go under initiatives. You will see that we are listed there. So Belinda mentioned the quality of life framework, and that is how our resource guide was designed. It was built upon the quality of life framework. And so one of the key things that we want to show you here is how you can access the resource guide. So you'll scroll down our page and you'll go to the right connection to resources. In that green box, you're going to see Submit a Resource Guide Edition, which is what Belinda was speaking about a few minutes ago. If you are aware of a new resource, a resource that is no longer operating, or if there is an update to a resource, please feel free to submit that addition, and we will add it to our resource guide, or we will take it away from our resource guide. Here you will see there is a resource guide overview. And so you can click there to learn more about the resource. And then under that, you'll see that we have broken down each sector so that you can actually see what resources are available under each. When you are aware of what you need, we've made it easier for you to just go straight to that versus having to go through our entire resource guide. So the one that I want to take you through is amenities, and I'm actually going to take you to the food and nutrition just to give you an idea of what you will see when you do go to the guide. So here, of course, again, Belinda mentioned it is built out by situation. So a person or a family in need of emergency food, we've listed those resources that we are aware of, their address, their times that they serve, or times of pickup, and even their phone number. And where there is an opportunity to list a website, we do that as well. This one is pretty big, and we know that right now it's a tough time for a lot of our communities, our neighborhoods, and residents of Mecklenburg County. And so this is one thing that we know people are in search of. So I wanted you all to really see this and know that there are resources out there. This, you know, a pregnant or postpartum female needs nutrition services or food. An individual family needs nutrition information. So hopefully this guide will provide you with what you're looking for. And even if it doesn't, you have our contact information to call us to see if there are additional resources that we may know of, or if we have partnerships that we may be able to connect you to that have additional resources that are not listed in our guide. So we have everything from supermarkets to grocery stores to all kinds of different, you know, accessibility to food and nutrition. Again, so several different economic opportunities, education, health and wellness, housing. Although it's what we do, we have additional resources for those who may not be a homeowner. Are you looking for rental? Do you need help on certain household bills, power bill, phone bill, whatever those types of things an emergency situation may bring? That housing sector will provide you with resources and access to get assistance there as well. Safety, and as Belinda mentioned earlier, transportation as well. So feel free to take a minute when you do have a minute to go through that resource guide and see what we have in it. And again, please get back to us if there are resources that you know of that we do not have listed in our resource guide that we can add to it. And I also, in addition to the resource guide, want to take a minute to talk about the NR grant that we offer here at Habitat Charlotte Region. This grant is offered to neighborhoods in the Charlotte area and the entire Charlotte region, which scans all of Mecklenburg County and Iredell County. If you are a part of a neighborhood association and you know that you guys are in need of completing some sort of project, you are wanting to do a cleanup in your neighborhood, you're looking for additional resources to your neighborhood, we have an NR grant opportunity. It is listed to, you know, up to $3,000. And we look for new and exciting ways to connect with neighborhoods and communities that we build in, but also that we don't build in. And we want to partner with you all because we have families that either move into your neighborhood or who already live in your neighborhood who may even go through our critical home repair program. And so another way to add to a better quality of life, to add to the resources that we can provide is through that NR grant. When you are able to address needs of your neighborhood and make different opportunities available. We're talking things like youth programming. If you have an interesting program that you want to do for seniors or, different activities that you want to create around your senior population in your neighborhood, or what if you're looking to install speed bumps, or you're looking to install lighting in a park that you may have in your neighborhood, or what if you're looking to do a community garden. These are some of the types of projects that NR grant will support. You can also find that application on our website, and it is simply just clicking that NR grant application and it brings it up. This application, much like the resource guide, was built on the foundation of the quality of life framework. So as you go through the application, you'll see that we want to know what you're focusing on: transportation, safety, housing, health, education, or economic opportunities, or if there's something else that you're interested in addressing through the NR grant. Very simple. We want to know what your project is, what you're doing, what you're planning to do, who you're planning to touch through this project. Are you doing this project to build community engagement? Tell us all of that. And if you have any questions there, our contact information is listed. Feel free to give us a call and we will assist you there with that application.
It opened a new tab. You have to go back to the tab.
Yeah, there you go. And the last thing that I would like to share with you is we actually have what we call the Neighborhood Revitalization Oversight Committee. And this committee is specifically important because it is made up of individuals who are not specific to housing. It as well was built on the quality of life framework. And those committee members are listed below. And this is important to us because they help us to go through our in our grant applications, and they support Habitat Charlotte by way of helping us to really stay transparent about our work. They help us in touching other organizations that we may not get to touch otherwise. And they help us in providing feedback on the work that we do. They are connections to different resources. They are connections to other neighborhoods, to other communities. And so we really value the NR oversight committee. And again, those individuals are listed below, and most of them really work in one of the sectors that's listed in the quality of life framework. So for the sake of time, if there are any questions about our resource guide, the NR grant, or if you have any additional questions about the Neighborhood Revitalization Oversight Committee, we are open to those questions. And as Alex mentioned earlier, you can put those in the chat box and we would be happy to address them. Otherwise, visit our website, just to even get overall information about Habitat Charlotte region, but more specifically about neighborhood revitalization by clicking on that initiatives tab and then neighborhood revitalization. I go through our resource guide, I go through the NR grant application, take a look at it, and let us know if you have any questions.
I'm going to take a few questions and kind of combine them together. if people are interested in getting more information about Habitat Charlotte Region's critical home repair program or our new construction program, is that information in this guide or should they go somewhere else for that information?
So this guide does not provide you with additional information on our critical home repair program or our new home construction, new home ownership program. However, you can contact me for more information about both of those, because one other additional thing that we pride ourselves with as it relates to NR is doing information sessions. And we do those in neighborhoods. We'll do those with organizations. And we talk about all of our programs, critical home repair, new home ownership. We talk about our open homes, open market homes, our Money Matters financial literacy programs. We talk about all things Habitat Charlotte. So although this guide does not talk about our programs specifically, you can still contact us for more information about our programs.
And I will add, if you do go on our website, there is a section under services that will go over it. Go over that. Sorry, I got confused on our own website for a second. Is there a deadline? Ooh, that's not a word. Is there a deadline to apply for the Neighborhood Revitalization Grant?
There is not a deadline to apply for the NR grant. It is an open application. You will see once you click on the grant application, you will submit it to an email address, and that comes directly to me, and we go from there.
How does a new organization or agency get added to the resource guide?
So down at the bottom, Alex, do I still have?
Yep. It just takes a second.
So down at the bottom of in our webpage, here under the right connection to resources, there is that green box that says submit a resource guide addition. You will click on that and it brings up a form that you can complete to let us know what additional resource you would like to add to the resource guide.
That looks like the end of the questions I have right now. I'm sure now that I said that, another bunch of questions will pop in. I will say that anyone who, as soon as this webinar ends, if you leave out of the webinar and then you're like, oh man, I have a question now. Don't worry, as Sherika and Belinda said, their contact information is in the slideshow. You're welcome to call or email them. Also, you will be getting an email later today. That's like a GoToWebinar wrap-up email that will have a recording of this webinar. You can also reply directly to that email, and that will come to me, and I will either answer your question or I'll give it to someone who can better answer that question for you. So don't feel like once this webinar is over, we are gone. We are always here to answer your questions if you need us. Belinda and Sherika, do you have anything else you'd like to add before I do my closing spiel?
No, ma'am. Thank you all for joining us today.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us. I can't read my notes because there's stuff covering it. I'm professional, I swear. Thank you everyone for joining us. And thank you, Belinda and Sherika, for joining us to talk about these important resources and this guide that we have gotten on our website. Don't forget to fill out that survey that comes up at the end of this webinar. It really does help us. It makes this series a better series for everyone. And I can't wait to see you all next month on January 8th when we will be joined by Rachel Eldridge, our Volunteer Services Director, to go over what volunteering looks like at Habitat Charlotte Region right now. Until then, I hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday season, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.